Yo, what up everybody? It's me, Fitness65, just bringing you a new video. Today, this is just going to be a video response about RKO's video. The RKO's video, RKO Kid 89's video, where he was talking about goodbye ECW and hello the next WWE generation. And it was thoughts from him being an original ECW fan. Now, really, I gotta say, the new ECW ECW, the original ECW was pretty good. You had your hardcore wrestling, and you had some good storylines, and it was pretty violent. And then sometimes like it was hard to find out where you want to find ECW at, because ECW would be on every different channel or be on a specific channel, but you would have a hard time finding it because sometimes you never had that channel, or you would have to go to a friend's house and record it. But really, the original ECW was pretty good. You had some pretty good moments, and you had some stuff that you thought you'd never see in the original ECW. And then moving on to the new ECW, many people were griping about the new ECW. You had fans who were complaining about how the new ECW was, that it wasn't like the old ECW, but in my opinion, the new ECW was good, kind of like what the original ECW was, but it was still good for what it was. I mean, you had some bad moments, like you had some bad wrestlers with the bad gimmicks, like that zombie who came into ECW, and then you had other gimmicks like that, but other than that, you had some really good wrestling for an hour. And when it started in 2006, people were questioning about how the new CW was gonna do, but it was pretty good. I mean, back in '06, you had RVD, you had some of the originals like Sabu, and RVD and Tommy Dreamer and other guys like that. And then of course you had that storyline with the New Breed versus Old Breed, which was kind of an underrated feud that most people weren't really talking about at that time, heading into WrestleMania 23. And it was just a very good feud, and it kind of helped elevate the younger stars at the same time establishing the old ECW originals. And that's what really the new ECW was doing, was pretty much giving you new exposure to some of the new talent in ECW, as you got to see guys that you really weren't going to see. Well, you got to see guys sort of develop their characters, and before they moved on to Raw or SmackDown. Like, a perfect example of that is CM Punk. Like, if CM Punk hadn't been on ECW, no telling where CM Punk would be now. Like, he probably would be a jobber, or he probably would have been not used that good, but because of him being on ECW, he was able to establish himself, and he had some pretty damn good matches with John Morrison. And after that, they sort of moved him up to the A show, and then they moved him up to the B show, and now he has that straight edge gimmick, and he's doing pretty well for himself, even though he's not being used like to his full potential. And in the main event scene, he's still being pushed pretty good. And then look at guys like John Morrison. If it wasn't for the new ECW developing him, no telling where John Morrison would be. He'd probably be a jobber, or most people wouldn't even know who he was, or they wouldn't be talking about him as much as they are now, and he wouldn't have been getting that much exposure as he's getting on SmackDown. And that's mainly because of ECW. ECW show like the new ECW helped get him over and help him establish himself to the point where he would go to the A or the B show to sort of establish his character even more. And it was just other stuff, and just help develop other guys like that, and help develop them to where they get their character, where they would develop more on the new ECW, and then it would help them get ready for the A and B show. And that's pretty much what the new ECW did. And it's a shame to see such a show like the new ECW go, because, like I said, a lot of new guys were getting exposure, and they had a lot of good storylines on the new ECW, and everything was pretty much flowing well on the new ECW. And you had a lot of wrestling on the new ECW, and you had a lot of damn good wrestling, and it wasn't like segments or skits like that. Mainly what you get with Raw, where you just mainly get segments and you get skits, but you don't get enough wrestling. And that's pretty much what the new ECW did. It helped get guys over. It helped develop new guys to get exposure for them and to help them develop to get them on the A and B show and get their characters over and help develop their characters as well. It was sort of like how ROH is, where it helped get like a younger guy over to where they can get established a little bit more, and then most companies will start looking at them. That's pretty much what ECW, the new ECW, was, to expose new guys and then help get them over and then help them develop and then see if they can move up after developing on the new ECW. And that's a shame to see such a company like the new ECW, be gone, because I pretty much enjoyed it. Even though it wasn't getting good ratings, it was still good. I mean, the current storyline they had was with Christian being the longest reigning champion in the company, even though it was the ECW belt, but still, it was still something, and it helped him get over even more, even though he was already over. I mean, they had the storyline with him and Ezekiel Jackson and then William Regal, but now we're not going to see how that was going to develop. Even though I'm not a big fan of Ezekiel Jackson, it was still interesting to see where that storyline was going. And then, of course, you had other guys who were having their thing going on, and then you had Yoshitatsu and other guys like that who are pretty much, now that this is going to be gone, they're not going to get as much exposure as they are now, because the new ECW is going to be gone, and it's going to be replaced by a new WWE show, which many people really aren't going to be that interested in, mainly because it doesn't have the new ECW name in it. But still, I mean, it should be a pretty decent show, and it's going to have guys develop, but still, it's not going to be nothing like how the new ECW was, despite the new ECW not getting its ratings. But yeah, that's pretty much my video. Just doing a video response to RKO Kid 89, where he was talking about goodbye ECW and hello the next WWE. Just wanted to give my thoughts about the new ECW being gone, and my thoughts about the quick thoughts about the original ECW being gone. Just giving my thoughts about that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. You can rate, comment, tell me what you think about. Give me your thoughts about the new ECW and your memories about the new ECW. For me, though, there was just so many memories about the new ECW. I mean, you had some good matches. I mean, you had guys like Kurt Angle, who was on there, who was putting on good matches and helping himself even more. You had Chris Benoit, who was briefly on there before the situation with him happened, and you had other guys on there who just having some good memories and good matches on that show. And then, of course, you have bad memories with the Elimination Chamber from December to Dismember, which was probably one of the worst WWE pay-per-views of all time. But you can't deny the fact that there was a lot of guys who were getting over, or who were trying to establish themselves, or new guys who were getting exposure on that show. But yeah, that's pretty much my video. Rate, comment, and hopefully this video response gets accepted. And yeah, that's pretty much my video. Until then, thank you for watching. Fitness65 is here bringing you a new video, and I hope to upload another video whenever I can on this account or my other account. Till then, I'm out. Rate, comment, peace.